you, Jonathan, for joining us today for the cash flow show from Pulse app. So could you tell me a little bit about Brenton Way and what you do and how it got started?
Yeah, of course. So we are a full service digital marketing growth agency based in Los Angeles. We started this agency about 5 years ago. And so it's funny because like I started it, I was working for another agency and I started the first 3-4 months, I didn't sell a deal. It was the worst. I thought, everybody starts in sales thinking they could kill it, but you end up like closing no deals. It's just like the worst experience. So then I really worked hard. I busted my butt. I became very invested into the process. And after about 6 months after that, I became the top salesperson in the agency. And that was really rewarding because I put so much hard work into it. So about a year after that, working there, investing a lot of time, I'm a very analytical and technical person, not just like a salesperson. So I like to look at like frameworks, plans, and architecture of how things are done. So I just looked at the agency and I'm like, this is not being managed properly at all. Like we're a digital marketing company, but we operate like a printing company would. And it wasn't just that agency. It was literally every single agency. It was just, there is no foundation. There's no infrastructure set up. It's kind of like we have a new client and then an email sent out and then everybody's like scrambling to like figure out what they're going to do. Like, I just saw so much inefficiencies that could have been improved. And I just literally one day went to my boss. I closed the biggest deal in the agency. I'm like, I quit. I had no plan, no like structure of what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. And then I started the next day, started cold calling and literally picked up the phone, started making calls and took one client at a time. And within 5 years, we've bootstrapped ourselves to a 7-figure agency. No investment, no capital, just scaled it on from $2,000. And yeah, so that's where we're at. That's where our agency's at. That's a little bit about the history behind it.
It's amazing to go to that scale in such a short amount of time, bootstrapping it especially. How did you decide how to use that first $2,000? Because I feel like that must have been a very difficult decision.
Well, I got to thank my parents. I had somewhere to sleep, that's the big help, I think to be honest, the support system is very nice to be able to wake up, not be judged, and be given the opportunity to just do what you want to do, and other people to trust you. I think is very important because it relieves that extra stress. But yeah, I basically what I basically did is I said, look, I have $2,000. I have to focus on utilizing my skills to its best of its abilities and passion. So I really sold passion. I didn't have anything else to really sell. Like I don't have an agency plan. I don't have an entire team. I started with $600 client, they literally paid me $600, which is very low, very low. And out of that, I made maybe $150, right? Because I had to pay someone to copyright it and do the work. So you kind of start off with the basics, you say, okay, start with one client, cold call. You call 100 people. If I call 100 people, telling them like have a conversation with me, I just need to close one person. And that's it. You start with the foundation, start with the basics.
Definitely start small and just keep growing and keep that momentum up until. So what is your vision, I guess, for the next 5 years going forward?
Well, we're a tech-focused agency. We're not here to compete. I always tell my clients and I tell our agents, we're not here to compete. We're here to dominate. Like we're just a dominated agency. We're not looking to compete. We don't consider ourselves in any sphere as most of our competitors because we build our own technology. We're an agency, but a software company as well. So like we built something called Initiate with my co-founder, which actually turns written content, like articles, into videos. And it does that in less than a minute using AI. So you can actually create some nice engaging videos from your articles. We created our own social media management platform which you can manage all of your social media posts into one place. It's called Growbase. We're actually building an influencer management system into Growbase, so you can actually find influencers. And we're building our own proprietary dashboard for clients. So if you're working with our marketing agency, you have one centralized place. You can see your Facebook ads results. You can see your Google ads. You can see your Google Analytics. What is the team working on in one place? So these elements allows us to be a product, not just a service.
Right.
And I think when you bring those two together, that's our goal in the next 5 years, is to be a product focused agency. Where when you have to choose between us and another agency, you're like, well, obviously, like it's like we bring so much value that it's not even a competition, you know?
Right.
So that's the idea.
No, that makes perfect sense. Like it's a very unique proposition, I think, from what I've seen in a lot of other agencies. Like they'll use technology, obviously. Like I've worked as a writer, I've worked in agencies where, you know, you use this content manager or use this, but actually having your own proprietary systems that you've developed.
Yes.
And kind of integrating that so that it's a seamless experience.
Exactly. And only like literally 5% of agencies actually do it. The other 95%, excuse my language, word, are maybe you don't want to say this on record, but garbage. And I'm very passionate about what I do, which is why I speak that way, because it's like, it really upsets me. It's like, don't say you're tech, don't say you have technology. I don't like that. It's like, you don't have anything. You don't have anything that makes you stand out. So
right.
It's like going to your doctor, right? It's like going to your doctor and your doctor's like, yeah, I know how to do foot surgery. And it's like, really? Oh, okay. And it's like, you know, you don't want that.
Yeah. And then they're like a general practitioner.
Yes, exactly.
Which is fine. But if they just stuck to being a general practitioner, like you have to know your market and what you do and what you actually serve, instead of trying to give yourself a name of something that you're not.
Exactly.
Right. No, I get that completely. So you mentioned that you were bootstrapped everything. Did you bootstrap even the technology building? Like once you got revenue, you put that back into the business to build the technology, or did you bring in investors later?
No
investors.
We don't have any investors. Okay. No one owns this agency except me. I own 100% of the company. I'd rather make $1 a month than to sell a percentage of this company, because I don't want anyone to tell me what to do with the direction of this business. I don't want anyone to take credit for all of the hard work that I put in terms of an investment value, right? Not like a team. Our team I love my team. They're very hardworking, very passionate, but I want to be able to do it the way that I have this vision, you know. So no investors. We literally spent like the first 3 years under 100,000 in revenue, 150, 100, 200,000 a quarter. I'll say a quarter, on purpose. Like we didn't want to scale. We weren't ready for scaling. We tried once or twice just because the influx of leads that were coming in, and it just backfired, because like, this is why most agencies don't succeed, is because they are not ready. They don't have the right infrastructure to scale. You need the right team members. You scale, you need to hire new resources. There's a lot of inefficiencies. So like when you take on 5 clients, you'll start to see issues. This client needs that client needs that. This went wrong, you need to fix that. If you have a lot of that, you cannot effectively scale. So what happens is they charge much higher retainers to handle the resources. So for example, because there's no efficiencies, the agency will charge you $12,000 a month, right? And focus really on profit margin to be able to hire new team members and to be able to handle the influx of issues that you're gonna have. We took the opposite approach. The idea is like, we can do the same thing for 7,000, maybe 8,000 retainer, right? Instead of the 12, but focus on, and we can do that because we've focused on efficiency. We focused on eliminating these factors that clients will have, so that we don't have to charge this huge retainer to the client. And I think that's a huge benefit to an agency, because if they can charge you less, you're more inclined to stay with them. They can take on more clients, keep you happy, and scale.
Right. That makes perfect sense. So basically, if I'm understanding correctly, a lot of in terms of scaling, it's really important for business owners to know when they're ready to scale in terms of infrastructure and in terms of, getting that foundation laid out and the efficiencies, so that way they can provide the best value service possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you did decide to scale, how did that occur? I guess, did you use like financials to help you figure out like how to do that in a sustainable way?
Like what solutions that we use basically to help scale?
Yeah. What solutions, or like, did you use like cash flow projection? Did that help you give you a better
Oh,
idea of when to scale in the long term?
no,
No.
I didn't. Well, in a way, yes, of course. We used Wave apps, invoicing solutions to be able to understand our revenue versus our cost. Yes.
Mhm.
But I work a little differently, like more of like a visionary. So I don't like looking at numbers at that same moment. I don't know. It's just me. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just how I am.
Right.
So like, I'll just like in my head be like, we're getting this much. I'm paying this much.
Mhm.
I need that much for
Right.
myself.
Mhm.
Right. So I kind of like vision it and then I kind of like price it out. I
Mhm.
don't really look too much in the granular details, or I didn't. Now, of course, we do because we have the resources to do so. I have an HR manager. We have just someone that focuses on P&L, profit and loss, right, as a full-time job.
Mhm.
We have an operations manager
Mhm.
that's full-time. And also, I think those are huge reasons why we're successful is because we focus on operations and frameworks first.
Mhm.
So yes, I didn't do it in the beginning for the first 2 years, 3 years really,
Mhm.
but now we do.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Like, as you can afford to get larger, it makes sense to bring in those people to, especially to monitor it for you, so you can focus on the big picture of what you're
Exactly.
doing. Yeah. So you had mentioned a minute ago retainers as well. Do you use retainers in your business, or you said you wanted to avoid them? Is there another model you prefer?
No, no, retainer. We love retainer. It's, well, the client pays us up front
Mhm.
for the work. It's, we pay on the first. That's usually how most agencies work.
Mhm.
So yeah, we say, okay, it costs 8,000 a month. Here are the services. It's going to be SEO, content, ads, and social.
Mhm.
8,000 a month. Here are your deliverables. Do you want to get started? Client says yes.
Mhm.
We set up a launch call and we get started. Yeah, we love retainer model.
Mhm. So you said you get paid on the first. Is there a window for like a payment window for your clients to pay you during that time? Like, is it that it must be on the first every time and it's automated, or do they have like a 15-day, 30-day, like how just like
Well,
immediate? Mhm.
yeah, we don't. So that's a great, like, we don't, yeah, it happens all the time. Like
Mhm.
clients don't pay always on the time, but they should, because like we have like a system that does recurring invoices and it
Mhm.
process payments automatically.
Mhm.
Most of our clients are good with it. They just process invoices. But then obviously startups like delay, take about a week, take 2 weeks.
Mhm.
We like to work with our clients. We're not going to stop campaigns a week in or even sometimes 2 weeks in.
Mhm.
But like there has to be that like level of respect. It's like, we're doing your work, you agree to this,
Mhm.
we would appreciate if you paid us on time. So yeah,
Yeah, especially when you're putting
simply
that work
put,
up front, like you have to have that to keep everything going. Um,
yeah, exactly.
so kind of branching off of that, do you have any kind of like a percentage that you set aside for those kind of emergencies, for maybe when someone can't pay on time because XYZ happened and they need like an extra week? Do you have that kind of security set up, I guess?
Not really.
Mhm.
Again, we focus on value. Like a lot of agencies, and I think this is some people succeed this way. I don't see it as a way of success, but I work with agencies all the time. I've worked with them in the past,
Mhm.
obviously. And they're so like crude, I think is
Mhm.
the right word. Very crude. It's hard to explain it. Like they're like, it costs this much.
Mhm.
And it's like, this is what you're gonna get. It's like, but like, what's the finer details? Like, what am I actually getting? Like, don't just tell me I'm getting ads. And it's like, that it's so focused on profit margin and it's like not really focused on value.
Mhm.
It's all just like, here's what you get, take it or leave it kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's like, this is why most of them are not successful, because they'll take on like 5 clients. The clients are like, dude, I'm literally paying you 15,000 a month for what? Like, the model does not work. It's
Mhm.
not sustainable.
Mhm.
So they all tend to fail, you know, or
Mhm.
some of them, oh, I'm sorry, some of them do succeed, but
Mhm.
most of them tend to fail, you know.
Mhm.
So we're not really like that. Like, no, we work with our clients. Like, this is a partnership. Like, it's like hiring an employee, you know. And I know we're different because we're not technically an employee, but we want our clients to feel like we're integrated into their entire system. Like,
Right.
that's the point. You hired us to be integrated in your marketing success. So
Mhm.
we're not very like, so like, you have to pay us now or else we're going to do this. It's like,
Mhm.
as long as you build value,
Mhm.
the rest will come
Right.
because they want to work with
Mhm.
you. You're not forcing them to work with you. Hey,
Right.
pay us here. You signed a 6-month contract.
Mhm.
If you don't pay us, we're going to do blah, blah, blah. It's
Mhm.
like, why? Why put so much effort and energy into like forcing your client to pay you
Mhm.
when you can just focus on making them want to stay with you? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
the stickiness.
It's all about having the human aspect and like understanding what they need so that you can provide it, and then they'll pay for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Don't sweat the details.
I guess just for the last question, I wanted to know what advice would you give to a business in terms of the financials? Obviously, providing value is the top thing, but what
Yeah.
advice would you give to like a business that is maybe struggling, and how can they use their finances to, I guess, improve? And I guess it depends on each business. Um,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Okay, I kind of understand.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's a great question, actually. So if you are a if you're a business with capital,
Mhm.
right, you can use your financial ability to scale.
Okay.
If you're a business that's more of a bootstrap, right, you need to focus on what we call baseline.
Mhm.
So baseline is understanding a point where you found product market fit
Mhm.
with your fans. So like you need to know, for example, if I'm selling socks, let's say I'm selling socks, I know my shipping cost is $3. I know my, operational cost is $5, whatever. Let's just say it's $8, but I'm selling it for $20.
Mhm.
Okay. Minus taxes, blah, 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 I'm making $10, right? So I know my ability is $10 in profit. I also need to spend some ads to get that sale. So
Mhm.
I know that I have an extra $5 to put into ads for that sale.
Mhm.
If you truly understand the entire cost of an item or a service, if you fully understand the granular cost that goes into an item,
Mhm.
you can use that in your sales tactics
Mhm.
and how you sell that item, how you offer promos, and a marketing aspect, right? I'm talking more. You understand how to do promos, you understand how to do marketing around that item. You know at what's the maximum level you can push to get
Mhm.
the sale of a service or an item. That's very powerful
Mhm.
because if you look at someone like Amazon,
Mhm.
right? They're all about cutting like their competitors, right? It's about
Mhm.
out cutting all competitors. So they're willing to take a loss on the entire item, but they projected how long they're willing to do that and how long the competitor can survive.
Mhm.
So that's all based on financial ability. It's like, okay, we can do this for the next 10 years.
Mhm.
We'll lose $50 million in the next 10 years,
Mhm.
but our competitor is going to be out within the next 10 years.
Right.
So they've already projected all of that. It's all accounting, it's all projection.
Right.
And they're like, we'll just squeeze them out. Right.
Right.
And it's messed up, but it's like, it's business. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
that's just how business works. So if you
Mhm.
have that financial ability to really break down your entire cost model, you
Mhm.
can really use it to leverage your promos, your offers, your incentives, and really kick out competitors. Right. And that's something we've done. It's like we know our financial model technically now, which
Mhm.
we're like, okay, we can do an 8K retainer because
Mhm.
now we don't have to pay for this, we don't have to pay for that. We've automated our invoicing systems. We've
Mhm.
automated our ticketing systems. We've automated our project management systems.
Mhm.
We've automated our communication with teammates through Slack,
Mhm.
right? By doing that, we've literally eliminated an extra 1,000 to 1,500 in retainer costs for each of our clients. So we've built that into our competitive advantage when we pitch to clients. It's like, hey, client, you want to pay an extra 2,000 a month for nothing? Go ahead, no problem. You know what I mean? It's like, so
Right.
it's all built back into the financial model. Yeah.
Mhm. No, definitely. I understand that completely. Knowing your business basically and the nitty gritty of it and your competitors can help you create that strategic value, both financially and in the services that you provide or the products.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for answering these questions on cash flow and about your business. We really
Of
appreciate
course.
your time. Thank you so much.